Hyde of Adrian Hyde Photography, and in this video I'm going to show you how the ambient light affects your photography when using flash. I'm going to take you through my setup from start to finish to demonstrate how the shutter speed affects your ambient light. Now, when you start using flash, the ambient light is controlled by your shutter speed and the flash is controlled by your f-stop. So in my setup, I want to be able to move my whole setup forward away from the wall and backwards away from the wall. And this will demonstrate how much light fall off there will be from our flash. So we will eventually make this wall lighter or darker depending on how far away the flash is. Now it's a little bit off subject, but I think it'd be a nice little thing to demonstrate as well. So let's start setting up this. The first thing we're going to do is bring this out to somewhere like this. We're going to put this about here, here, and put this at the back. And our subject is going to be here. We're giving our flash in. I want it quite close, and I want it so I can slide this backwards and forwards. So just make a little test, see if it can slide. Okay. So what I'm going to do is going to mark this with a little bit of tape. One here. And all this is going to do is just make sure that this distance here, the angles here stay the same. Just turn this a little bit more so we can see the detail. Right. Next little thing is we're going to bring our camera somewhere here. And I want to keep roughly the same distance all the way through this. So this is 50 inches from there to the front of the camera. So this is the setup as we see it now, and through this camera here we should be able to see the photos that come in and maybe even the settings up here, don't know. But we'll do our best to show them as they come live on here, and I'll also put them up as I take them. So this setup here now, the distance from here to our subject is going to be the same. The distance from here to here is going to be the same. Not that this is important. I am going to pick quite a wide open lens so we see a lot of this area here. And now what I'm going to do next is cut all the light down so I have a black screen. And what I want to do is have 8 stops of light. My flash sync's maximum speed on my camera is 250 per second. And I'm going to go right the way down to 1 second. And this is 8 stops of light. So we'll see how the ambient light is affected by the shutter speed. And also you'll see how the flash then starts to mix with the ambient light. But all the time the flash will give out the same output. So we need to find out our f-stop. Now I'm going to put this on live view so we can see what's going on. And at the moment my settings are 250 a second, f2.8, and we are 100 ISO. And that gives us this. So this is 250 a second. I want to go all the way down to 1 second. And that is, oops. And that is a little bit too bright. So I'm going to go back to 2. Let's go in the middle, 30 of a second. I'm going to move this so the background goes dark. 5, 6, That's F8. Let's take it up to 2, 60th, 80th, 100th of a second. And as you see, it's getting darker and darker. That's 250th of a second. That's the maximum I can do. I'm going to drop this now down to 1 second and see what it's like there. So we get a good... Where's the 1 second? 1 second here. It really is blown out, but I think it's acceptable. Let's have a look at F11, maybe a little bit better. But I think we'd do F8, because at F8 we are 250 of a second. Yeah, F8, 250 of a second. I'll just take a photo of that. I'll take a photo of that, no flash on. And you have a black screen. So now we know our f-stop. What we need to do now is meter the flash to our subject matter at f8. We turn everything on, make sure everything's on. Our flash is on. It's on 1 to 1 at the moment. And we are, we are going to turn our flash meter on. It's set at ISO 100, 250th of a second. I think put 250th of a second on here. Yeah, 250th of a second on our camera. And it's on the flash mode. And let's make a test. Whoa, it's on 1 to 1. So what we're going to do is just make a test here. And that's saying F11. And we want to go down to F8. So that is 1 stop of light. Half. F8. So down 4th power now. 4th power, and we are F8. So that now should give us a good exposure from here to here. And the distance is not going to change. I'm going to put this on the camera now and take a photo. Our camera's on, and we're just going to take a photo. And as we can see, our doggy teddy is perfectly exposed. And our background is also a little bit... I'm going to turn this a little bit more so not as much light goes on the background. Meter for this, and it's all still F8, F8, still F8 as we can see, F8. And we're taking another photo. That is better. Okay, so we've got, I'll put this photo up, and we've got, he's nicely exposed. There's not so much on the background. So that was F8 at 250th of a second at ISO 100. Now what I'm going to do is go through the shutter speeds. I'm going to go down 1 stop at a time, and then I'll put the results as they come through up on the screen. So at the moment we are 250th of a second. I'll take this photo. Okay, now I'm going to go down 1 stop. Oops, 1 stop. To 1/25th. And again, 1 stop is 60th of a second. again, 60th, it's a 30th of a second. And we'll go down again to 15th of a second. You start seeing this ambient light come in. We'll go down again to an 1/8 of a second. And there's definitely a lot of ambient light now coming in. Now I'm going to go and make a quick check. So I'm just going to show you that this is still the same F8 from here to here. Now at the moment our camera is at an 1/8 of a second, F8 at 100 ISO. Let's take this off, put this on here and just make a test. And it's still F8. So as you can see, that one is still registering F8. We're going to carry on. F8, we're going to go down 1/4 of a second. There's more light coming in. Let's go down again, 1/4 to 1/2 a second. And the last one is, whoops, the last one will be 1 second. 1 second. So we'll do this again. And the background is getting very, very white. But I'll show you that the exposure coming from the flash is still the same. And if you don't believe me, I'm just going to now make the check. Our exposure still should be F8, even though we are now a whole second with the shutter speed. And we are still at F8. Still at F8. So as you've seen there, we've gone from no ambient light, we're cutting out all the ambient light with the shutter speed, to having rather a lot of ambient light. But it's interesting to find out that all the way through the process that the exposure coming from the flash was the same. Now what I'm going to do is cut all the ambient light back out again, and then I'm going to move the whole subject back towards the wall, and I'm going to move it further away so you can see the wall go dark. And this is a very, very interesting little experiment to do, because you then start to understand what we call light fall off. And if there's no light hitting this, your back, it will turn black, even though we can see there's a lit room. So let's do this and find out. So we're going to move everything back towards the wall now. Because I put tape in, we shouldn't move anything. Our subject matter may fall off the table, but we will try not to let it fall off the table. Now we move this right against the wall. Oops. And we move our camera to here. Roughly right. All we need to do now is to set this camera up so we can see what is going on. So in this camera now, I'm going to go live view. At the moment we are 1 second, F8, and I'm going to go all the way up to 2/50th of a second. You can see this come in, oh, wrong way. 2/50th of a second, and no flash. In a live view, it should be nice and dark. I'm just going to take a photo and I'll put it up. There's a photo, it's nice and dark without any flash. Now I'm going to go a meter for this flash. It should be f8. Flash on. And as you can see, it's f8. I'll put this back on. And now what you should see is the back light, the back wall lit up. It's lit up. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to move everything back so this wall will not be as white. It will start getting darker. It's quite light at the moment. We'll start getting it darker. Move this back, not too far, about a metre back. So, stays the same. So we moved everything back a little bit, and this is the photo coming in now. And as you can see, the wall is getting darker. Let's move everything back a bit further. Everything comes back a little bit further. To here, this back. Move everything back, just to make sure I'm not cheating. Just make the test. It's F8. Oh, F8, let's do it on this one. F8. Down here. And put this on. So everything's the same, 2/50th, F8, 100, ISO 100, oops. And there you have it. That wall is now almost black. Let's move it back a little bit further. So we're back here, we're still 2/50th a second, F8 at ISO 100. And the wall is almost black. Well, I'm going to leave that there now, and I hope that demonstrates that how your shutter speed affects the ambient light. So until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.